My name is Vriel, and I want to tell you something important before I begin. I have lived for 340 years. I have watched star systems burn. I have seen species beg for mercy on their knees, and I have watched warlords weep like children. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for what happened when the Korrivan hunt landed on the blue planet. The Korrivan hunt. You have heard of us, yes? No? Then let me explain, because context matters here, especially when everything is about to go terribly, terribly wrong. We are the most feared hunting guild in the known galaxy. 37 species have disbanded their military simply because the Korrivan hunt made a single visit. We do not negotiate. We do not miss. Our reputation is older than most civilizations, and our trophy room is larger than some moons. When a planetary council wants something eliminated, something that their armies cannot touch, they call us. Simple. Clean. Expensive. So when the Veluan Collective hired us to retrieve a specific target from a planet called Earth, we laughed. Not in a cruel way. Well, actually yes, in a very cruel way. Because Earth was classified as a Class 2 developing world. No interstellar travel. No energy weapons. No Galactic Council membership. The most dangerous thing on their planet, according to our briefing documents, was something called a grizzly bear, which, if I am being completely fair, did look mildly concerning in the photographs. Mildly. Our team was 8 hunters. The best of the best of the best. Commander Draal led us, a 6-limbed tactical genius from the Prothean system who had once hunted a bone titan alone and walked away with its skull as luggage. Then there was Maeve Kash, our tracker, who could smell a life form through a kilometer of solid rock. Pale Mun handled explosives. God of Vriel was our sniper. Ohun the Silent was, well, silent, and also terrifying. Zune and Prak were our ground soldiers, built like armored transports and twice as loud. And then there was me, Vriel. Intelligence officer. The smart one. The one who was supposed to see problems coming before they arrived. I missed this one. I missed it spectacularly. The target was a human female. A hunter herself, apparently, which the collective mentioned like a footnote, like it was a minor detail, like telling someone there might be a slight drizzle when actually there is a hurricane forming offshore. Her name was listed in the file as Maeve Kash. Age, 31. Occupation, wilderness tracker and survivalist. Last known location, a dense forest region in the northern hemisphere of Earth, called by the locals, simply, the bush. Commander Draal read the file, put it down, and said, and I quote, "Is this a joke?" He was not being sarcastic. He genuinely wanted to know if the collective was wasting our time. We landed the ship 3 kilometers from her last known position. Cloaked. Silent. Perfect insertion. The forest was thick and dark and smelled of something wet and alive. Maeve Kash picked up her trail within 4 minutes. Fresh footprints. Fire ash from a camp. Signs of a recent kill, something large, something 4-legged, dressed and cleaned with what Maeve described as, quote, uncomfortable precision. He said uncomfortable. Maeve Kash, who once tracked a ghost-class predator through a volcanic field, called her work uncomfortable. We should have listened to his tone. We spread into formation and moved through the trees. And that is when Prak disappeared. Not with a scream. Not with an explosion. Not with any of the dramatic exits that Prak usually made, because Prak was the type of soldier who announced his presence at all times simply by existing loudly. One moment he was behind Zune. The next moment, he was gone. Zune turned around. There was nothing there. No signal on the communicator. No biometric reading. Just a small piece of torn fabric hanging from a low branch, swaying gently in the cold wind. Draal held up his fist. We stopped. Everyone stopped breathing. Sev crouched down and touched the ground where Prak had last stood. He looked up at Draal with an expression I had never seen on his face before. Not fear exactly. Something quieter than fear. Something that lived just underneath fear, in the place where fear had already been and left a mark. She was here 30 seconds ago, Sev said quietly. God of Vriel swept her scope across the tree line. Nothing. Ohun the Silent pressed himself against a tree and checked every angle. Nothing. I ran a full sensor sweep on my wrist console. Thermal. Motion. Acoustic. Absolutely nothing. And somewhere, deep in those dark trees, something moved. Something that had been watching us, the entire time, since before we even landed. I want to be very clear about something. The Korrivan hunt does not panic. Panic is for prey. Panic is for the ones who are being hunted, not the ones doing the hunting. That is what Draal always said, every mission briefing, every single time, without fail. No panic. No hesitation. No fear. Draal panicked first. Not visibly. Not embarrassingly. But I watched his 6 hands tighten on his weapon simultaneously, and for Draal Voss, the legendary commander Draal Voss, that was the equivalent of screaming and running into a wall. His hands were telling the truth that his face refused to show. Zune activated his full body shield and swung his cannon toward the tree line. Where is she? He said, and his voice had that particular quality of someone asking a question they are not entirely sure they want answered. Then God of Vriel made a sound. Not a word. Not a sentence. Just a sound, short and sharp, the kind of sound a person makes when something surprises them so completely that language simply fails to load in time. Her sniper rifle was on the ground. Her hands were zip-tied behind her back with what appeared to be, and I cannot stress this enough, a piece of vine. Common, ordinary, forest vine. And she was on her knees, with no memory of how she got there, which she told us later in a voice that was quieter than usual and stayed that way for several weeks afterward. Ohun the Silent, whose entire identity was built around being the one nobody ever detected, was found 15 minutes later sitting against a tree with his weapons removed, his communicator disabled, and a small note pressed into his palm. The note was written in our own language. Our own language. In perfect grammar. It said, simply, "You are loud." The forest had become a place of terrible, precise embarrassment. Draal gathered the remaining 4 of us, meaning himself, me, Sev, and Zune, and he made a decision that I respect deeply in hindsight. He said, "We are not hunting her anymore. We are negotiating." He said it with dignity. He said it with his chest up and his chin forward. He said it like a commander making a tactical choice, not like a man who had just watched his elite team get systematically and quietly disassembled by a single human woman using forest materials and patience. Sev called out into the trees. "Maeve Kash. We want to talk." Silence. Long silence. The kind of silence that has weight to it. Then she stepped out. And here is the thing. Here is the thing that I keep returning to, even now, 3 years later, when I tell this story at the guild hall and everyone thinks I am exaggerating. She was not large. She was not armored. She was not carrying exotic weapons or wearing some advanced battle suit. She was wearing a brown jacket, worn boots, and had mud on her left cheek. She was holding something that the Earth people call a hunting knife, which is just a very short blade, not even the length of my smallest arm. She looked like she had been out here for days, comfortable and completely unbothered, like the forest was her living room and we were guests who had arrived uninvited and mildly broken something. She looked at all 4 of us and said, "You took longer than I expected." Draal stared at her. "You knew we were coming?" "Heard your ship 3 kilometers out," she said, and she was not boasting. She was just reporting information. Factually. Casually. The way someone mentions the weather. "Your cloaking is good." Your landing thrusters, not so much. Sev made a small noise beside me. I think it was grief. Draal straightened to his full height, all 6 limbs arranged in the formal posture of a guild commander addressing a subject, and said, "We were hired to bring you in. The Veluan Collective wants you for reasons that are above my authorization level to disclose." Maeve Kash tilted her head slightly. "I know what they want," she said. "And my answer is no." "You do not have the option of no," Draal said. She looked at him for a long moment. Then she looked at the rest of us. Then she looked back at him. And she smiled. Not a big smile. A small one. The kind of smile that people produce when they already know how the next hour is going to end and they find it mildly amusing. "Your 2 soldiers in the ravine," she said, "are fine. Zip-tied, a little cold, probably irritated. Your sniper is unhurt. Your quiet one has his pride wounded more than anything else." She paused. "You can leave. All of you. Take your people. Go back to whoever sent you and tell them that Maeve Kash is not a contract. Tell them she is a warning." Nobody spoke. Draal Voss, 300 years of combat experience, commander of the most feared hunting guild in the known galaxy, looked at Maeve Kash standing alone in the dark forest with mud on her cheek and a small knife, and he made the wisest decision of his entire career. He nodded. We collected our team. We walked back to our ship. We left. And when we filed our mission report to the Veluan Collective, Draal wrote 4 words in the conclusion field that became, in certain circles, something of a legend. "Do not send hunters." I, Vriel Solon, intelligence officer of the Korrivan hunt, can confirm that we have never returned to Earth. Not because we are afraid. Obviously. Absolutely not because of that. But because some planets, some people, some quiet women standing alone in dark forests with nothing but patience and a knife, deserve to be left exactly where they are. Undisturbed. Unbothered. And waiting. Friends, if you are enjoying our videos and want to watch new and exciting sci-fi and HFY stories every day, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to turn on the bell icon so you never miss any of our latest uploads. Like the video and share it with your friends as well, so our community can continue to grow and bring you even more amazing content.